Tea with Marie at the Recycling for Rhode Island Education in Providence. And I'm pouring tea for this lovely lady next to me whose name is Kathleen Samways, and she is the co-director of this place, this beautiful place. And this place is remarkable. We've been walking around and looking at all the different things, and it's been so much fun. We've kind of rearranged things. We've made this beautiful set. Teachers and artists and all kinds of people come here, right?
Nonprofit organizations, anyone who has to do with children and human development and needs stuff to keep hands busy and get creative minds working comes here.
Right. And I think I forgot to say that I'm Marie Younkin-Waldman, but anyway, that's who I am. Well. And we're just setting our table for tea. Instead of saucers, we have these little things that make nice little, coasters. And then if you're having a tea party with your grandchildren or something, these are wonderful things. Look what we did with the napkin. This is a belt buckle, right?
Right.
And you have a napkin in there. We've got a lot of little things, and there's something, little jars, a pretty color. Mm-hmm. You can make little vases for flowers to put them on individual tea tables for our charity teas. Just thought of that. That would be great. Okay. The girls behind the cameras are having fun. Well, anyway, Kathleen, tell us about this place.
Well, the Recycle Center is a warehouse in Providence where people can come and get all this great stuff that manufacturers have given to us, which are the ends of their jobs, the leftovers, the seconds, the obsolete things that are last year's color or last year's model, or for some other reason don't fit their requirements for a first product.
Yeah, what would they have done with them ordinarily if they didn't bring them here?
Well, some things, most of everything would go into the landfill. Most everything would be thrown away.
So you're saving space.
Yes, we are saving space in the landfill. Yes, and we're giving it another life, another use, and we are sparking some creativity in teachers and children and educators, artists.
I know the artists that you've had that have been well known in Rhode Island. Dave Cole did the knitting needles down at the Convergence, I guess they have.
Right. Tom Denninger, who's great with all kinds of cool stuff. Ken Spicer comes and gets stuff for his projects. And
there's so many artists now in Providence. They're really trying to make that an artist colony downtown with the recycling. That's another show. Recycling of the mills.
That's right.
And putting them into artist studios and things.
Well, that's part of our philosophy of being in this big old warehouse is that we are also reusing space that otherwise would go to waste or be.
Now, what was here before? Do you know what mill it was?
Yeah, actually, this was General Electric.
And we're not far from the Roger Williams Park down the road.
Right, the zoo isn't just down the road, and we're pretty centrally located on purpose. We wanted to be in an area where there were a large number of nonprofit organizations and schools that need the kind of budget relief that we can offer for materials in their programs. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you keep records, but do a lot of schools in Providence and schools that don't have large budgets, do they use this place?
Oh, yes. The word of mouth is phenomenal, and so we have membership from all over the schools, the schools in Rhode Island, and organizations beyond Rhode Island into southeastern Massachusetts and eastern Connecticut. We have members from
Now,
very
how about
far away.
City Arts? We did a show on City Arts.
City Arts is a member of ours. We are a membership organization.
That's what I was going to say. What do you have to do? Become a member?
Yeah, you become a member. You are as I said, our materials need to be used for educational purposes. So what we try to do is help people understand that we need to meet our expenses, so we need their membership in order to
pay the heat.
Exactly, the heat, the lights, the help, because we do have help. We do pay people to work here. So just because the materials come to us from manufacturers, which saves them the cost of throwing it away, and saves room in the landfill, it still does have a cost to it.
Do you have any idea what the amount of space is that you have here, what the square footage?
We have about 10,000 square feet between our our warehouse area, our distribution center, and our workshop area, which is kind of arranged in a long.
Okay, so you have different aspects to the place. Now we're sitting right now in the what?
This is the distribution center,
Okay.
and this is where the materials come in. We stage them in the warehouse area, which is where the loading dock is and where the kind of bulk and break point is. That's the industry term, bulk and break. And so we break up the boxes and we bring them out and display them. And we have a wonderful volunteer, Ruth Servant, who we owe many, 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 many thanks to, who has a background in merchandising and came to us through the Volunteer Center of Rhode Island. And she's here about 30 hours a week merchandising for us. And so she gets things ready so that they are appealing, so that they can be carted off in some sort of a reasonable amount, so that people aren't trying to take huge things of cardboard out or heavy boxes of something. We break it down, we make it so that it's user-friendly and shopper-friendly.
It's definitely user-friendly Monday morning. And the materials, these are beautiful brocade fabrics and things. And then behind us, we've got big bolts of felt and different bright colors. In fact, they made somebody made a snowman.
Ruth made this, actually, which is very.
This is something that a school
fun.
made, probably, huh?
No, Ruth made this. Ruth.
Who's Ruth? Your volunteer?
Ruth is the merchandiser.
Oh, you're merchandiser.
Well, because she wants people to know how to use this so that it moves, and so the more we move.
This is great because this show is airing in January,
right?
And snowman would be kind of fun to do in January, wouldn't it?
It's very easy. It's just cut felt, and the snowman is. And it just turns out that we have a lot of this white stuff. So
is this like felt kind of stuff?
It's felt. Yes, it's kind of like felt.
Well, I mean, you could take too. I was saying to Kathleen here. Look, these little white things. You can make snowmen out of this with magic markers. I'm going to do that with my grandchildren. And this. What else have you got over there?
Well, gosh, we have all kinds of things. We have ribbon. We have other kinds of fabric. We have some of last year's science kits. We have some tape.
Which might be this year's for some kids that never even got them last year.
That's exactly right. Or for an after-school program or a tutoring kind of a situation where you just want to have things to reinforce the lessons for the children. Some things we get, as I tell you about them, I'd like to tell you why we have them. For instance, this tape is only sticky on one part of the backing. So it's not useful for the manufacturer, but it has lots of other uses. And so we get it. People use it for lots of different things, but it wasn't useful to the manufacturer. So this would be a second or a throwaway for that manufacturer. Other things, for instance, are plastics that are coated plastics.
That you got in your hand.
This gold thing.
It might go on my Christmas table.
This would be, for instance, the top to a perfume or a lipstick or some.
If you could make a table decoration too, or something out of this.
You can make all kinds of things. But the idea is that it now can be used for counting and sorting and or building that kind of a project for children. We even had somebody. Whoops.
And we've got this
put together a little thing
spider.
like.
I guess these are hangers, right?
Those are hangers. Somebody made out of hangers. We had somebody make a little menorah out of those, which is kind of fun. We do get some finished products from the manufacturers when things are returned to the vendor for.
This is my memorial.
For because they're damaged. Sometimes we get things back. They get them back because they're damaged, and then they write them off to us. We get some things that the packaging is now obsolete, so the packaging comes.
Those are labels?
There's our labels and different kinds of.
Filing labels?
Wow. Yes, file folders and some kind of badges.
Name badges?
Yeah. We get felt. Felt comes on these big rolls, and this is an example, for instance, of what Ruth is doing. The rolls you can't even put your arm around all the way, and she'll break them down and make them into smaller rolls, and then into cut pieces so that they're easy for people to take away. Because we were thinking, for forever, teachers have always, this, you were a teacher.
I was.
Teachers are knocking on the back doors of businesses saying, could you give me this, could you give me that? And the business doesn't want to open up the door for one teacher with one trunk to fill up.
So they come here instead.
So what we decided to do is we wanted to be retail friendly. We wanted to have teachers be able to come here and get lots of different things in amounts that made sense for them, instead of having to fill up their trunk with one thing and then go home, use what they need, and throw the rest away. So the idea is...
I mean, you really have organized it well, and we're going to take a little tour in a little while, and we're going to see more things that they've made. But before we move on to that, you've got some things. There's a special room here where they just have kits of things that are ready to make, and I guess somebody assembles those.
Yes, we have volunteers. We have college students who are doing community service with us from Johnson and Wales and Roger Williams and some of the other work internship programs around, and they assemble these kits which are designed by a retired teacher who works for us, and she runs our resource room, which is all kinds of materials that are assembled into an idea kit, so that you can go there.
Just give us an idea of this. Are they learning about math or something?
Yes, this is math. It's geometry. It's how to make figures with triangles. And so this kit gives you the foamy stuff to
Kids
cut,
love that stuff.
and then the patterns to take home and make your own kit. And then now you have the starter kit and the pattern, and you can replicate it. Then we have other things. This one is about, this is a Braille kit, and all it is a replication of, say, an alphabet card, but what we've done is assembled it in an envelope with a few small beads and some glue, and now the children in your class can learn about Braille in a hands-on way and create their own Braille card with alphabet. Everything here is designed around our vision, which is that children will be competent and confident because they understand about materials. They touch them with their hands. They understand them because they know what they'll do. If they bounce, they run, they roll, they float, they sink, they can touch them and feel them.
This must be very good and tactile things for people that have low vision or children that are blind and
we
things
have
like
a
that.
large number of people come in from special education programs who are classroom teachers, occupational therapists, activity directors, recreation therapists who are coming in for hands-on kinds of materials.
Great, wonderful. Now, Kathleen, how long have you been? You were one of the founders of this, aren't you?
Yes.
And how long has it been going on?
This is our 14th year. We just entered our 14th year.
It's a wonderful, wonderful resource, and I bet there's still some people out there that don't know about it.
Well, yes, there are, which is hard to imagine. We have over 2,000 members now, and
that would
and
be
we continue to
teachers,
schools,
artists,
teachers, right? We're not really open to the public in that that anybody can come in.
You have to be an educator,
connected with an education or, like I said, human development type of program. But the idea is that we can support those, and we can also, with the resource room, we have the resource room, we have the distribution center, and we have a workshop program, and we'll be looking at some of the things that we do in the workshop program.
We're going to do that in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Anything else that you wanted to talk about there, and then we move on to the rest of it?
These are just really more things from the resource center, some tangrams, some finished products, which are kind of demonstrate what the kit entails, just some little cut things with some a greeting card made just out of something that's stamped and cut
this
out of
says
paper.
Joy on it. It's so cute. A gingerbread that's Joy.
Gingerbread.
My youngest daughter's name is Joy.
There you go.
It's adorable.
This is an example, for instance, of a kit that could make a card or a small book. And so the idea is that, we assemble this because we kind of see what's coming in, and we give people an idea this way.
And I have the glue and everything that you need to get this thing. This is great. And you've got so many more things in the room if you come down here. So we're going to move on. Thank you very much, Kathleen. We could talk all day about this, right? And the different things you can put on your table, and Tea with Marie likes that too. Teas, dinners, everything.
I just want to say, though, we were talking earlier about the materials, that we don't always have the same thing.
Okay.
So the idea is that you come here and get an idea, and then you use what's here to create what you
Oh,
want.
yeah, you've got to come here and
That's right.
use that as stimulation for
That's
your
right.
creativity.
You can't come here with a list of
No,
exactly
it's like when you
what
go
want.
to the department store, a certain department store.
That's right.
You
Not
can't
always
looking for a
gonna-
sweater, it's not there.
Yeah.
We're going to move on now.
Okay.
And Kathleen's going to give us a little tour, right?
Yes.
And then we're going to see some special projects that have been made, and you're going to talk about that.
Great, I will.
We're here at the Recycling for Rhode Island Education with Kathleen Samways, who is showing us some of the awards and how they got started with this program.
Well, thanks for this opportunity, Marie. We got started actually at the Fogarty Center in North Providence as a work skill development program for some folks who needed to learn how work is accomplished, what to do in order to participate in the earned income program. And we asked manufacturers for some materials, the ends of jobs, the leftovers, the seconds, and created work skill development opportunities for folks. So if you knew how to sort by color, you could sort, and if you could count, then you counted, and if you can lift and lug, then you were the box handler, and everybody learned how to do the work.
So were you working with people with disabilities initially?
Yes, the Fogarty Center is a day program for folks, adults with different kinds of disabilities, and we were working there as a professional team, my colleague Priscilla Miller and I. I am a physical therapist, and Priscilla was the communication specialist there. And as a team, we were asked to look at this program and to try to see what we could do to build skills. And as a result, we ended up with this sort of connection with reuse.
Somehow you made that connection.
So as our folks were learning the jobs, we realized that we could sort of graduate them from this work skill development, and they could get to a higher level, and we thought that other people might like to share that knowledge and the experience.
Yeah, and
also
now look at it, it's a huge
and
place.
so now we continue to employ folks with developmental disabilities. We have about 11 people who work here who are paid to work for a small amount of time or a larger amount of time, depending on what their work skills are and what
That's wonderful. That's
and they can do
wonderful.
all different kinds of things.
Yeah.
So the Fogarty, this is some recognition from the Fogarty Center for us as a community service program, because we continue to provide service to that community as well. And as an outgrowth of that, we have been recognized by the Office of Rehabilitation Services for their Employer Honor Roll Award for job accommodation, because if you can do it, it can be done here, and you can come here and work and have a good work experience and feel good about that. So the Office of Rehab Services recognized us for
And
job
I'm sure they were
accommodation.
very happy that you provided that service,
Well,
because not too many of them
I
around.
have to say that one of our supported employees nominated us for the award, so that was
that's
that
great.
was
That's great.
And then for a wonderful career high, I guess, or resume high for the Recycle Center, we have also been recognized by the Chafee Award this year. So we were able to secure.
This was 2005, so this is your most recent
This is
one.
the most recent one, exactly. So we have community service recognition, we have rehab services recognition, we have recognition from the environmental community.
Okay, this says Outstanding Conservation Program.
Right, because we are keeping stuff out of the landfill.
Conservation, recycling.
Right,
all of
right.
those
So
things.
it's resource conservation. And then this last photo that I wanted to talk about is from an orphanage in India. We also have people come in from programs that support activities that go on in other countries. And so we have sent them materials for the children in this orphanage to play, to learn, to create, to do lots of things, make curtains for the nursery, do all kinds of things
those.
that they otherwise would not have an opportunity to
Those
do.
beautiful little faces with those big eyes and those lovely colors, and I'm sure they really appreciated everything you
They
did for them.
This was when the woman delivered the the packages to them from us.
Okay. And one more we have, because we're going to go on to the next room next.
Well, actually, the other one is the Nonprofit Business of the Year Award from the Central Chamber, which is here somewhere. Here we go. This one.
Okay.
So we were recognized by them in 2003 for the Nonprofit Business of the Year.
Great. Okay. Now, thank you so much, Kathleen. We're going to move on and see some of the projects that people have made with the recycling materials. We're in the workshop room now, and we're about to look at some beautiful things that have made from recycled materials. I'd like to introduce Kathleen McGarvey, whom we've known before because when she was working at the Attleboro Museum, we did a show there.
Yes, we did.
So it's good to see you again, Kathleen.
Nice to see you, too.
Yeah. And, of course, Kathleen Samways, who's been with me. Kathleen, you're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that they do here in the workshops. And would that be the books?
Well, in general, we have many workshops that relate to curriculum from preschool up until grade 12 and maybe even some college classes they could fit into. And as long as the topic fits in with the curriculum and it uses recycle center materials, we will offer that workshop.
And you're the program, I forgot to say, you're the education events coordinator, right?
Yes, I am. So as a request by some of the teachers, we added a bookmaking workshop. And this is a sample of a journal that I actually made when I attended the workshop. And it's made using a map and all recycled paper and materials from the Recycle Center. And then we have found papers and bookbinding, memory journal that little children could make because it's just got binding rings.
Can you hold that up to show the camera?
And then it's all different types of paper, yarns, and different ways of creating pockets.
Ooh, that's neat. So they can get really creative with these. Up like this? Yep, so the camera can see it. And they can put pockets and ribbons and everything here. And then you take the paper from the recycled places and you use that.
Yeah.
You could make a cookbook like that.
You could.
A family cookbook.
Or you could make a cookbook for your organization and then sell it as a fundraiser.
Oh,
and the kids could get involved with the PTA.
Better idea, right? Better idea.
And then we have a very, very artistic altered book that was made by one of our staff, Annette Mendonca, who teaches, is a retired school teacher, and she's tied it into, it's all about Roger Williams, so she's tied it into civics. And we, right now, are developing curriculum and workshops that tie into the civics initiative that Kathleen can speak a little bit more about later on. So we're getting very artsy.
What's the plan? What would they do with this book about Roger Williams?
Well, we'd hope that they would take the information that they've learned in the classroom and create their own book. We have many used books that we get from book sales here at the Recycle Center. So it could be something that they could teach themselves.
That's great. Now let's move on to some of these things because we're running out of time, of course. Who's going to talk about one of these things?
Well, the three items in front of us, the lighthouse, Stonehenge, and the castle, were all made by a local artist named Bill Murray. And we offer workshops on how to construct these three items using Recycle Center materials, and we have accompanying curriculum. So it's geared towards elementary school and middle school. But if there was some way that the older grades could use it in the classroom, we'd certainly welcome those instructors.
So what kind of recycled stuff did they use, for instance, to do the Stonehenge?
That's actually from a box company. It's foam that's used inside the boxes, and I'm not quite sure exactly what the final use is, but it comes to us in pretty deep squares that you can see that he sculpted them and he used a carving knife.
So when the kids are building this, they're studying a whole unit, I would assume, on Stonehenge and learning about that too.
We hope so.
Great. That's multiple learning or whatever. I forget what they call that thing. What's that thing? You know, they have
multiple learning is
yeah. You know, where you have a unit and there's a math element and there's a social studies element and I don't know.
Right.
Anyway,
whole language they call it. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a good name for it.
But
and
all of this is hands-on.
Oh, okay.
The idea is that the children are not just reading out of a book about Stonehenge. They are developing a scale model. There's even a compass on it that if you orient it properly with the compass, the sun shines through the archways, just the way it does at Stonehenge.
Wow.
So there is geography, there is orientation, so that it goes just beyond cutting up the plastic,
Right,
the foam
definitely,
stuff.
definitely. And just mention these two quickly before we have to move on.
Well, the castle could also just be used by an after-school program if they have a Harry Potter reading group and they want to make a castle, or if it's King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. And then those are made from cones that are used in knitting from a knitting manufacturer. And then the lighthouse could fit into any type of curriculum. It could be architecture, this butterfly.
Everybody in Rhode Island knows what that is. Isn't it the big bug?
It's a cousin.
It's the country cousin, yes. And we actually do have
You have to
a
put
workshop.
his red reindeer on there or
Right.
something, whenever.
Well, I think it's very funny that his antennae are made from underarm deodorant, the twisty part that you twist up to get the deodorant to move. That's what this is.
so he's nice and clean. Okay.
It smells good, too.
I'm getting a signal here. Thanks so much, Kathleen, and it's good to see you again.
You too,
And so we are going to take a couple of looks at the other room and a couple of things that happen around here. This is a great place. So anyway, thank you so much. This is the warehouse, and Kathleen's going to tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, we're just going to show a few things that are coming out of the distribution center so that you can get an idea of the bulk area and the kinds of things that are available here. We have all things, materials, products that come on rolls. Some of it's sticky back, some of it's shiny, some of it's black, some of it's printed, some of it's white and tissuey. We can go over here a little bit and show, for instance, there's even
Yeah, it's different papers. That could be...
wrapping paper, clear paper to make pockets, some of the pockets that Kathleen was talking about in the books, and different kinds of materials that come on rolls, and people come and will take it by the roll. And then also things that come from the weaving process, things that come from the toy industry. Up here we have displayed the items that we had in the runway fashion show that were designed by people who work here. Ruth did the raincoat and created
adorable.
it, designed it, sewed it, and Kathleen McAreevy.
all from material here, those raincoats?
All from material here, and Kathleen McAreevy made the very fancy dress that's hanging behind you over in that direction, designed it and did all the ribbons.
Wow, that's great. And
Okay,
speaking
so-
of designs, is this a good time to bring this up?
Yeah, this is the runway fashion show that we
Isn't that neat?
participated in. So we had, in fact, there were some RISD students who did one with
Were
other
the
kinds
RISD
of.
students?
Some were RISD students. Some they came from all different.
When did you do that?
That was in May, I believe.
Last
no,
year?
yeah, this year. It was this
Oh.
year. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Okay, so
That's so wonderful.
we could talk all day,
And
couldn't we?
We've got Dave Cole has his black art piece over there, and he comes here, and this whole place is wonderful with bins and collections of all kinds of stuff.
Yes. So thank you for coming.
So thank you for having us here.
You're certainly welcome.
All right. Well, this has been great, Kathleen. You know, this place is fabulous, and it stimulates me because I've got grandchildren and this and that, and I like to do creative things too. So I'm sure for the teachers and the artists, it's absolutely fabulous. They don't have these kinds of places everywhere, do they?
No, they don't. They being states.
Yeah,
there are
that's true, they is,
there
yeah.
are several across the country, but for New England, we are probably way out in front in terms of the distribution of the amount of materials.
Right, and that includes Boston and Hartford and different places like that.
Yeah, there are no places. There are no
Wow.
other freestanding, independent, nonprofit organizations like this that do what we do in
You
New
are
England.
definitely to be commended, and I know you put a lot of time and effort into it and started the whole thing, and you're still working with it, and so we thank you so much for letting us come and share it with everybody else.
Well, thank you for coming,
Yeah.
Marie. We appreciate your time.
And we thank you, too, for joining us on Tea with Marie, and we hope that you'll join us again, and don't forget to keep beauty in your lives every single day, and look at all the beauty you can make in a place like this. Thank you, Marie Younkin-Waldman.